So, it is Monday. Let's do some news of the day. And there's some good news in the news of the day. First off, Kapanen. Why is he being held out of the lineup? Is it related to a trade? I thought maybe he would have missed curfew. It turns out that it's not that, but it's close. They're darn close. He was late for a meeting on Friday. So they had a team meeting on Friday. He was late. He says he overslept. And when the media kept pressing him on, hey, what about? He was like, you know what? Let's just talk about hockey. And I get it. He overslept. He missed one meeting. He had to sit out one game. He's back in the lineup tonight. It's done. And the media wants to keep digging and digging and digging. But, no, come on, guys. Just move on. The media will always try to find some kind of a scandal where there isn't one. So it's not a big deal. But he's fine. Speaking of fine, Gritty has been cleared. So I didn't report on the Gritty story when it broke. And I could have got a whole bunch of views out of it. And I know people would have gone nuts. And there are people who can't stand the whole Gritty mascot thing. And they would have been like, yeah, see, this is how it works. Gritty is hilarious. He does tend to get kind of physical with fans, but not along the lines of what this parent was alleging. And he told the Philadelphia Inquirer, where he said that he got lousy pictures with Gritty, and that I believe. I believe that when you get a picture taken with Gritty, you never quite know what you're going to get with him because he's kind of unpredictable. But that then he kind of took a run at his kid and sucker punched him. The police have found no evidence of this. So even during a photo shoot, there's no way that a team's going to say, all right, make sure the mascot's left alone with the kids. Nope. There are many reasons why you're going to make sure that mascot is being watched at all times and the kid's being watched at all times because you just never know. Weird accusations will come out. I'm not saying that the dad's necessarily lying about this because that's not something you can't call people liars. That is actionable. There was a show back in the day, Penn and Teller's BS. I'm not saying what it was. It wasn't BS, but you guys know what that stands for. And that's why they would swear and curse about whoever they were talking about, but they wouldn't refer to them as liars. You refer to somebody as a liar, it's slander, and you can end up getting in trouble for that. So I will not refer to the father of this kid as a liar, and I don't necessarily think that he is. But the police have found no evidence. And for the guy who's in the Gritty suit, because as much as we talk about Gritty like Gritty's actually a thing, there's a guy in that suit, and I'm 100% sure that he's not looking at a 13-year-old kid and going, hey, I know what I should do. I should sucker punch this kid in the back of the head. That's going to get some really great PR. There's a line there, and you don't cross it, and that's not just crossing the line. That's crossing it and burning it as you're going over it. So that's why I didn't report on it at the time, and I'm reporting on it now because he's okay. He's cleared. Police have said there's no evidence. And I'm sure there were other people there who could have provided eyewitness testimony and said, nah. So we're good until the next time an accusation comes out against Gritty for whatever. Because it may very well happen. But you know what? I still like Gritty. And I get a kick out of him even when he's taking a Blues fan's hat and chucking it about three sections over. I will say this. Watching the way that Gritty treats fans of other teams in their arena, I don't know that I could walk into Philadelphia not wearing a Flyers jersey. I don't know that I could do that because I'd be concerned if I was sitting there wearing a Bruins jersey that I'd turn my head and Gritty be right there. I'd be like, my hat's going flying, isn't it? So yeah, that's the end of that for me, and I'm glad that it's done. No evidence found. Gritty's cleared. We can all breathe a sigh of relief on that one. Unless you hate Gritty, in which case it doesn't matter. We've got 3 weeks until deadline, and it is deadly quiet. And you know how you can tell it's quiet? Because we don't have anything. We don't have even, Pierre LeBrun, Bob McKenzie, Darren Dreger, Elliot Friedman, guys who should be breaking. Here's who's out there. Here's what's going on. Here's what I'm hearing. And normally this time of year we hear that. Instead, we get Pierre LeBrun making trades, like mock trades, and going, here's what I think the Kings and Flames can do so that Toffoli becomes a member of the Flames, and just throwing out there these mock trades. And I thought, wow, They're actually doing mock trades. It's that quiet where there's mock trades going on. So I'm going to say that 3 weeks from today, when we do the live stream for the trade deadline, which is always like one of the most popular live streams of the year, it's right up there with the draft. It is right up there with free agent frenzy. I think this deadline could be quiet. And so because I think this deadline could be quiet, I'm going to have some fun with it. So that live stream could be very entertaining because I'm not sure there's going to be a whole lot of trades to report on. And the ones that come out may not be ones that are earth-shattering, if we put it that way. But that being said, there's always a deal that gets done that we kind of go, what? Hodgson for Cassian, anyone? Oh, I remember when the Canucks fans were ready to burn all their jerseys over that one. So yeah, we're 3 weeks out from the deadline, and it is kind of quiet. Barkov's out tonight, but he's got positive MRI results, so he shouldn't be out for long, but he's not playing tonight. And so for the Leafs, that's great news. Toronto Maple Leafs should be sending Barkov a get well soon card, but don't get well too soon, because this is the team that they're fighting for third in that division. And if the Panthers are without Barkov for, let's say, 10 days, just 10 days, it will put a serious dent in their ability to make the playoffs. He's that important. While Huberdeau, I believe, has been their MVP for the year, losing your number one center, it's huge. And so, unless Trocheck steps in and does what Krejci has been able to do for Boston when Bergeron's been out, the Florida Panthers could find themselves in trouble. So hopefully Barkov's not out for too long. Your 3 stars of the week. Leon Draisaitl in Edmonton is the number 1 star. He's also number 1 in scoring overall in the NHL. I'm going to say this again. I don't think that Draisaitl gets overlooked. I know I don't overlook him, and I don't think he gets overlooked by most fans, and definitely not by the media right now. Most, including myself, still see McDavid as the better overall player, but Draisaitl doesn't get overlooked anymore. Stamkos is your number 2 star from Tampa, and number 3 is JT Miller in Vancouver. So his insanely good season continues, and he's the number 3 star. It's bizarre world in Vancouver right now, and he's one of the main reasons why. So, yeah, your 3 stars, there you go. For 3 teams, 2 of them Canadian, and they all hope to make the playoffs. Kiefer Bellows has been recalled by the New York Islanders, apparently looking for some offense. They may look to put him right into the lineup to see if they can inject some scoring. I don't know. Bellows, his overall numbers in Bridgeport aren't fantastic. The goals are fine. The overall points aren't. So we'll see if it works for him and what they do at the deadline. This may very well be a move that Lou Lamoriello is making with the deadline in mind. Like, okay, we'll bring up Bellows. If he can inject something into the lineup we haven't had for a while, great. Other than that, I'm going to have to make a move. So we may very well see the Islanders being a little bit more proactive, especially if they continue this drop down the standings, which became an actual thing when Columbus passed them yesterday, and they could be as low as the number 2 wild card by tomorrow morning. So there's not really any time to continue sort of hemming and hawing about it if you're the Islanders. In a surprise move this morning, it was announced that the Chicago Blackhawks claimed Nick Seeler on waivers from the Minnesota Wild. So you're taking a player from a division rival, which is usually a good idea. And when you look at the most recent waiver claims that have been made, a good example of a smart one was Lucas Spiza being picked up by Winnipeg. And he's been solid. So if Seeler, who's played 99 career games, plays number 100 for Chicago, and if he can help solidify that blue line a little bit, just that added depth, number 7 guy kind of thing, it could be interesting to see what happens with Chicago from here. And obviously Sealer's not going to be a key player, but picking up a guy on waivers can definitely help. Nico Hischier was not at practice for the New Jersey Devils. They also have recalled Joey Anderson. Anderson played roughly 30 games last year. Not a scorer, but they may very well need a body on that lineup, or on that roster, if Hischier's going to miss their next game. So for Hischier, he's gold for New Jersey, for their fans, for the team. So you've got to make sure he's 100%. You can't have him out there with any kind of injury problems. So I would think he'll be treated very, very well until he's 100% ready to go. And also, I want to end off with a news that's not necessarily totally surprising. So Duclair got off to this amazing start, right? And up to 21 goals. Well, he's been stuck on 21 goals for 14 games. Hasn't had a goal in 14 games. And it's not necessarily a huge surprise because while we get wrapped up in Duclair and what he was doing in that huge hot streak he had, he is a streaky player. So I could see him going on another run, but 21 goals is a pretty good season already. He may end up with 25. Maybe that's it. And that's why I was saying during that hot streak, it might have been a good idea for Ottawa to look at potentially trading him. You look at Ryan Dzingel and what he's done so far in Carolina. He's been a healthy scratch at times. But last year in Ottawa, he was really good. And he got them back a decent return at the deadline from Columbus. I really think Duclair could do the same. And with Duclair, he's a restricted free agent as well. So that gives more control to the team that picks him up than what Columbus got with Dzingel. So, again, I could understand Ottawa trying to hold on to him, but I could understand Ottawa looking into a potential trade as well, because those 21 goals are going to be attractive to somebody out there. And also not on the board, I've read 3 different articles today on Ilya Kovalchuk and why the Montreal Canadiens should both hold on to him and trade him. I don't know what they're going to do with Kovalchuk. I know he's been good, but I do wonder if maybe his value gets overblown by the media at points, and we'll see whether or not he sticks around at the deadline. I would think if they trade him, it'll be harder to convince him to come back, probably. But I don't know. I don't think that what they get back is going to necessarily be worth trading him, but we'll see. If they can get a second rounder back, great. If they don't, if it's just spare parts, I don't know. I think you're better off holding on to him for what he's brought to the team so far. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.